Reschenthaler. He's the House Chief Deputy Whip and a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Congressman, great to see you. Thanks very much for being here. Your response that you are extreme, as are your colleagues.
Well, this is the Democratic playbook. Just call everybody they disagree with extreme when they themselves are the extremists. Look at their foreign policy. I think it's extreme to surrender Afghanistan to the Taliban. I think it's extreme to have a porous southern border where you have fentanyl coming across every day, killing 300 Americans again. That's every day. I think it's absolutely extreme to have huge economic spending packages well after COVID that's leading to inflation. So they are the extremists. They are simply calling us an extremist to deflect from what they're doing that's actually extreme.
Well, how come the message is not resonating better? I mean, look, you saw President Trump joke around in that, town hall with Sean Hannity and say, oh, yeah, I'll be a dictator on day one because I'm going to close the border and I'm going to drill. These are two policies that most Americans want. And yet it seems like the other voices on the other side of the aisle, the loudest in the room, resonate with people and they catch on with this whole extreme narrative.
Well, you got to remember that the Democrats have the entire legacy media on their side, so it's very easy for them to get messaging out. Okay. What sets us apart, however, is two things. For one, the legacy media means less and less every day as individuals turn to other outlets, much like Fox Business, to get accurate news. Additionally, we have the ideas on our side, Maria, so they can have all the messaging they want, but at the end of the day, Americans agree with Republicans and conservatives on key issues. Polling shows that most Americans trust Republicans on everything from immigration to national defense, the economy, and now, for the first time in modern polling history, more Americans trust the conservatives, the Republicans, with education over Democrats. So again, we have the high ground on ideas. It's up for us to get out there and actually win these elections, which I think that President Trump will win next fall, and I think the Republicans will take back the Senate and expand our majority in the House. I think we have a lot of good things trending our way.
All right, well, that's well said. I want to get into some of the issues. I know you've got plenty of deadlines coming up on the budget. How's the appropriations process going? We've got a January 19th budget deadline when the government runs out of money again. You're going to get it done?
Maria, we have so much going on here. What we really need to do is we need to have a negotiation with the Senate and start to conference these bills. Remember, the House has passed 7 out of the 12 appropriation bills already. We should be conferencing those heading into January 19th, I believe is the first deadline, and then you have another one on February 2nd. But Maria, it's just not the appropriation bills. We have 2 cliffs coming up, the 19th and the 2nd, one January, the other February. We also have this supplemental package to deal with border funding, Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, for example. Then you head into March, you have FAA reauthorization, and then you have April that's going to give us the reauthorization of FISA. So we have a hectic first quarter going into the second quarter next year. This is going to be an action-packed legislative agenda.
Yeah, and in the second quarter, you've got the April 30th potential 1% across-the-board sequester cut to discretionary spending. So you've got that as well. Meanwhile, let's get into some of the issues away from budget, and it is the border. Customs and Border Control sources reporting December migrant encounters are on pace to exceed November by 30%. November reportedly 130,000 encounters in just the first 17 days. 130,000 people in 17 days, compared to 167,000 during the same period in December. The video from Eagle Pass, Texas last night shows it all. Look at this picture. Thousands of illegal migrants all waiting to be taken into Border Patrol custody. We're told there's still migrants being processed this morning while more are crossing. I mean, I've been to the border plenty of times, 5 times actually, and I've never seen anything like this. It is getting worse every day, Congressman.
It is, Maria, and it's by design. Look, at the end of the day, there's a very simple way to stop what you're seeing at the southern border, and that is for this administration to go back to what the Trump administration was doing regarding policy. Number one, start to have the stay in Mexico, remain in Mexico policy, which actually follows international law, by the way. If you have individuals in Mexico seeking asylum, we would help alleviate a lot of these problems. 2, you can end the dangerous catch and release program for those that are caught. And then lastly, lastly, you need to have infrastructure on the southern border. That's walls where it makes sense to have walls. That's drones. That's more border patrol agents. We need more down there. And it's just not, Maria, a matter of illegal immigration. You also have to think about terrorism. We know we've caught 100, or at least 100 or so folks on the terrorist watch list, which begs the question, how many on the terrorist watch list have not been caught? It only took 19 terrorists to pull off 9/11. You have Hamas calling for international jihad and international days of terror. I shudder to think how many terrorists are actually in the United States. Also, you have the issue with fentanyl, with 300 people a day dying of fentanyl on average in the United States. And lastly, it's just not immigrants coming from Central America and South America. You have Chinese nationals. You have individuals from Africa, areas controlled by terrorists, the Middle East. This is incredibly troubling.
What do you think about those Chinese nationals? We've got pictures of those people as well being apprehended. And to me, they all look like military-aged men, potentially, professionals, engineers. They were in collared shirts. What's going on here?
Well, what's really troubling about that, not only are they military-age males coming across, the CCP has to approve them coming across. They are not doing this on their, it's not like they're escaping communist China. They're likely coming at the direction of the CCP. I think that China has incredibly nefarious plans for what they're going to do in Southeast Asia, for example, and a lot of that would depend on disrupting things in the United States to prevent us from responding to, let's say, an attack on Taiwan. So I don't think those motives that they have are pure as the driven snow. Neither the CCP nor the military-aged men that have been caught coming across our southern border.
Yeah, actually, Mark Green, the chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, said just that when I spoke with him on Sunday. But the Federalist is reporting that there is a serious cyber war underway, and Chinese hackers are targeting critical U.S. infrastructure. We know this. They sent a spy balloon above our military installations, for God's sakes, across the country. But, Congressman, what about that? Should there be any response to all this surveillance that China is doing on America? And maybe those people coming in are part of that network.
Yeah, absolutely on all points. And we got to remember, what's inviting this aggression is weakness from the White House. You didn't see the Chinese doing this under President Trump. Remember, the Russians attacked the Colonial Pipeline through a cyber attack as soon as Biden took office. So again, the weakness from the administration is inviting a lot of this chaos, but there should be proportional responses. If China hits us with a cyber attack, we should have rules of engagement, and we should have authorized use of military force in the form of cyber attacks so we can respond at least in kind. These kind of cyber attacks are going to be the new form of warfare, and they can be just as deadly and just as crippling if used correctly. Imagine if China took out all our water systems, our sewage facilities, our trains, for example. I mean, it would be massive chaos, and that's in their plans to do to distract us if they invade Taiwan or take other military action elsewhere.
Well, Congressman, we'll keep a spotlight on it. Thanks very much, sir.
Thank you, Maria. Merry Christmas.
All right, Guy Reschenthaler, Merry Christmas to you.